Iran's ambassador to the UK agreed to a rare interview to talk about this raging conflict. And we were invited here into the Iranian embassy in London, a building full of history that tells the story of Iran's fraught and troubled relationship with the West. We spoke to the ambassador about his president's apology to its Gulf neighbours, but it was clear he doesn't think saying sorry means the end to the war. We also asked him about the protests on the streets of Iran in January, when thousands and thousands of people were killed by their own government. Guess what? He doesn't accept that it was the Iranian government that was at fault. But for a regime with a long history of repressing its own people, that's not a message that many people outside his borders would be willing to believe. Ambassador, your president has apologised this Saturday morning to your country's neighbours for attacking them indiscriminately. Do you want to say sorry for causing huge danger, hitting homes, hotels and airports right across the Gulf?
Our president, President Pezeshkian, made one declaration in his remarks. He mentioned that we do not continue this kind of attacks, defensive attacks to our neighborhoods. We have a long history of relations in bilateral, regional, and international levels with our brotherly and friendly states in our Persian Gulf. And so we reiterate again, emphasized on our defensive policy against any aggression or any strikes against the Iranian territorial integrity and Iranian people.
But to be clear, what exactly will Iran stop doing? Do you still believe that military bases, Americans or Israeli, are legitimate targets in the wider region?
Please, Laura, ask this question from the American side and Israeli regime.
I'm asking this to you. Your president has apologized for lashing out across your neighbors in the wider Middle East, endangering millions of civilians. Will you stop your attacks on military bases in other parts of the Middle East outside Israel? That's a clear question. Will you stop that?
For responding of this question, it depends on the activities of the American side and Israeli side. It is very important. If you want to give me one clear answer, I'm telling you is a conditional reply to you. It depends on them. The aggression of the American side and the Israeli regime is continued. There is no doubt we will defend ourselves. And if they want to use from this military bases, although that we do not want to do that, there is no doubt. Certainly we will defend ourselves accordingly.
If British jets shoot down Iranians' missiles or drones, are they legitimate targets?
British government mentioned that they do not involve with this aggression. Okay, that's good. Although that we expecting the British government as a one civilized nations to condemn this kind of aggression against anybody, including Iran, but now there is no any involvement from the British government, and so it is very important for us. But if they want to attacking us, there's no doubt that Iran will going to have your own right for self-defense. But I do believe that the British government has very, very good experience from Iraqi invasion, and as well as they know the illegality of this aggression.
And yet the British government is allowing American jets to use British bases for attacks, and British military assets are being used to intercept Iranian attacks. In those circumstances, are British military assets legitimate targets?
We are trying to have a very functional and very delicate and careful activities.
You've been lashing out right across the Middle East to all sorts of countries, endangering civilians across a whole region.
We are defending ourselves. This is a very important. Who started this war? American side and Israeli regime.
But you say the root causes
but they are using of their bases, military bases from the Persian Gulf countries. Okay, that would be a very important, legitimate target for us. We do not want to go to attack anybody. No, we are very delicate. We are very, very careful regarding for our activities, and as well as we do expect for the other people, including British government, to be very delicate, to be very careful for their own activities in the name of the self.
You say, Ambassador, that what America, what Israel, what some other members of the international community would say is the root cause here, is Iran's refusal for many, many years to abide by the rules that the international community has set them, to cover up some of its nuclear ambition, and indeed to run a repressive government that oppresses many of your own people, and to threaten Israel using other satellite groups across the Middle East.
In international community, we have very important rules and standards in the name of international law.
And those which have been ignored by Iran over successive years.
No, not at all. Iran, as a member of the NPT, Israel is not. Iran, as a member of the non-proliferation treaty, is a responsible state. They want to use the nuclear activities, nuclear energy, only for the peaceful means and ways. But unfortunately, the Israeli regime not only is not a member of the NPT, they are using and produce the nuclear bomb.
You have ignored many international obligations. Just last year, the nuclear
authority... Give me one of them.
Yeah,
please, give me one of them.
Last year, the International Nuclear Authority said Iran had breached the rules. In 2019, it was revealed that you had stockpiled more uranium than you needed. Way back in 2002, it was revealed you had secret nuclear sites. And you have been enriching uranium at a rate well beyond what's needed for civilian purposes. You know that, Mr. Ambassador.
Let me answer to you.
You know that.
Yes, let me. All of the nuclear activities of Iran is under the monitoring of the IAEA.
And you have breached their rules.
Even our enrichment activities. Even our enrichment activities. During the implementation of JCPOA, IAEA produced 15 reports that declared and explained that there is no any intention, there is no any desire from the Iranian side, there is no any ambition to go to nuclear bomb.
Donald Trump says he will accept nothing but a surrender. What does the Iranian government say to the American president today?
As our President Pezeshkian mentioned, that this kind of declaring for the surrendering unconditionally from the Iranian side is unacceptable, is only for using as a pretext by Trump against for the internal public opinion of American society.
But for how long can Iran go on like this? You have nothing like the military might of America.
The American side has their own limitations. Yes, we have some of our limitations, but the American side has own limitations. That's especially regarding for the illegality of this war. This war is illegal, absolutely illegal. And Trump and his team should justify their own society regarding how to commence this war against the international peace and security. And they should be accountable. They should be responsible for this act of criminal activities of aggression.
Since we last spoke, your government has killed thousands of its own people in the streets who had the courage to stand up to protest against the suffering that they have been experiencing at the hands of the regime. How on earth do you justify that, Ambassador?
The Iranian side has their own problems due to the economic sanctions against us. And the Iranian people, unfortunately, has their own problems, in this matter. But I do believe, yes, now our people are in a very painful and sensitive period of time, but they are supporting the government against the foreign invader, foreign aggressors.
To say,
Ambassador, if you go to the inside of Iran, you can see one solidarity, one unity among the people.
Ambassador, we would love to be able to report independently from inside Iran to see what is really going on.
Why not?
But we have seen much of what has gone on. Just this morning, I looked at many of the images and watched some of the videos from what happened to protesters in your country in January. I looked at images and videos verified independently by our colleagues at BBC Verify that show body bags littered over the courtyard of a mortuary, the Karizak Forensic Medical Center in Iran. I saw images of young, old, teenagers, people killed by your government, beaten faces, bloodied bodies, gunshot wounds. How on earth do you justify that and sit there today saying, our people have some complaints? Your government killed thousands of their own people and the world saw that.
Laura, I again, I recommend you to be very vigilant and delicate
and our colleagues have verified those images independently, Mr. Ambassador.
Of Iran. Let me finish. And so I do not want to say that we do not have any problem. No. The problem there are in our country, but you see that how to address these kind of problems according to the Iranian laws and regulations, it's a very important. And the other than without any interference of the foreign countries against Iran.
This was not about foreign interference. This was about your own people taking to the streets to protest against their suffering. And if you had nothing to hide, why turn off the internet during the protests? If you had nothing to hide, why not allow people to report freely and fairly?
Because the internet now using as a military devices against the Iranian security. You know better than me because as a journalist and regarding for this matter. And I do believe you should be very delicate regarding for the Iranian circumstances and condition in Iran.
In this country, 4 people have been arrested on suspicion of spying on the UK, British Iranians and an Iranian citizen. They have been arrested for spying on the Jewish community. What were they doing?
You know, we do not have any access to them to verify this kind of claims made by the British government. We are ready to have a joint investigation. We are ready to have a joint scrutiny in this field. But unfortunately, British side has any response for our willingness to have a cooperation.
And lastly, how does this end? How can your people find peace?
According to you mentioned regarding for the peace, I invite you to come Iran and see directly.
And report freely and fairly without any restriction?
There is no any restriction. There is no any restriction if you want
to. There are restrictions. Unless you're going to make an exception and allow us to come in and report, then we will take you up on that.
No, you can use the experience of the Madame Liz Doucet and any other country, any other colleagues who have the experience.
And the BBC, when reporting there, was told they couldn't share that material with our colleagues at BBC Persia. I want everyone watching to know that you did put a restriction on us.
I'm telling to you that if you want to have a judgment, you observe directly. Observe in the field, not telling some of from the other people saying something in against the Iranian people. If you go to the history and the culture, the rich culture and civilization of Iran and the Iranian people, Iranian poetry, Iranian literature, you can find that the peace is a very important ideal in the Iranian society. We all admired peace. President Trump and as well as Netanyahu has a very dirty dossier regarding for the making aggression and doing these criminal activities against the sovereign states and peoples.
Isn't it a cruel joke to tell people that Iran is a peace-loving country? If you look at the behavior of what's happened in the last few years, fueling support to Hamas and Hezbollah, accused by MI5 of carrying out plots in this country, endangering people here, saying that you want to destroy Israel, and you say you're a peace-loving country?
Yes, definitely we are the peace-loving country. And regarding for the MI5 report, we have several times requested to give us the evidences. Nothing done. Regarding for the Hamas and Hezbollah, they are doing for their own right to self-determination. According to that's a very principled right. And so if you do not push your point of views to the others according to your narrative.
My last question, what's your message to the British government?
No, we do not have any, bad intention towards the British people, towards your territory. We are very eager and keen to have a very fruitful and as well as excellent bilateral relations between Iran as a one old country and Britain.
Ambassador, thank you very much indeed for your time and speaking to us today.
Thank you, Laura.